Hello Marvel Heroes fans, my name is Wilfred and welcome to my channel. This is yet another video on Marvel Heroes the game, and today I've read an announcement on this thing called mobility. Now just to recap, there's going to be a massive game update to this online game, free to play by the way. Just a quick recap here. Episode number 1, they were saying that all heroes will get an update, whether it's data hero or recently released hero. Every single hero will get an update, and there will be no more hotbar dancing. There will be talent and trait for you to augment your power. There will be no more power rank. So basically, in essence, that is the part 1 of it. Part 2 of it is about no more unique. So they're doing away with all the unique because they probably feel that a little bit challenging to keep updating, balancing all the unique. In return, we get something called Omega Gear. It's very much generic across all, but then you have something called Omega Power to go along with the gear itself that make it rather unique to each character in some sense, each hero in some sense. So it is something like the Diablo 3 kind of like gameplay with the affixes that you have to farm, the right affixes, and then that is the thing. I'm sort of like, the first update was really good. The second update is like, I have to wait and see. The third update is a little bit controversial. They're doing away with the entire Omega system, all the nooks that they have, everything that they have, they're going to do away with it. They're going to simplify the whole thing into something called Infinity System, just like the Diablo 3's Paragon. Something very simple, germs, and pick up some kind of options, and you can go Infinity as well. There will be no more caps, so you could have a lot of Infinity points if you keep playing the game. In some sense, a little bit like being like held back a little bit. I'm not entirely sure whether I like the third update or not, because I strongly believe that at some point in time you have to keep a cap somewhere so as not to build such a big gap between some of these like a very committed players versus some of the casuals, or not as committed kind of player. So that's my personal take to it. Everything should have a limit. There should be infinity. But anyhow, the fourth update is something that is very much a surprise to me, because I didn't think that they would address it in this update. So it does tell me something that they are really willing to go all out to fix any part of the game that may need fixing, even as the mobility point of view. So how they're looking at it is this, right? If you look at the forum, you can read the forum. A lot of like discussion going on. Some has teleport, some do not have teleport. Some will have things like a lot easier to travel. Some traveling power is a little bit clunky. The bike doesn't turn and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of complaint in the forum for the longest history of time. They are doing something to fix that. They recognize that having a dash power, unlimited kind of dash power, actually become very powerful because the heroes can have can avoid anything dangerous or risky. In a way, yes, but in a way also no, because you can't just keep kiting. You have to deal some damage, and sometimes to deal damage you have to stand still unless your heroes has a lot of like damage over time power to it. And but it also means that some of this right now, if you play the Cosmic Danger Room, you can still win by kiting around a little bit. Now, looking in the future, if they do away with this kind of like infinite kind of mobility, then how are you going to kite around and avoid some of this damage? Because sometimes it is really the only way to do it. But they sort of like answer that question in a way. So we have to wait and see. So what they want to do is that for us to have an opportunity to stop and enjoy what we are doing. So I think that is a kind of nice thing to do. So what are the changes here? Now, a couple of things, very quick update for you all is that the dash power will be uniform across all heroes. So it doesn't matter you are Captain America or Black Widow or Rocket Raccoon or Hulk or whatnot. Whenever you use a dash power, it is a fixed distance and kind of like just fixed length to it. I think probably that go along with the teleport as well, so you can't really teleport like to the end of the screen, but there will be kind of like distance to it. It's kind of interesting concept. And the other thing is that there will be 3 charges, so the kind of like you can't just keep like going around dashing around. You only have 3 charges, and once you depleted all 3 charges, you have to wait for 4 seconds for them to come back up again. So each charge will have a 4-second cooldown. I'll show you something later. And then and in a way that there's nothing new here. The dash power now become a CC breaker, crowd control breaker. So for example, if you are being jailed by Magneto, you can dash out, provided that you still have charges on your dash power. If you get freeze or frozen or stunned or whatever, you can get out from those tricky situation. So that's a really good thing. So now, if you look at the traveling power and the dash, sometimes it's quite interchangeable at present. So they do not want people to abuse the system in a way that, well, fine, all my dash power now have 3 charges. What about my travel power? Can I just use it to replace dash? The answer is no, because there's a 1 second channel time before they start. So what it really means is like a Warcraft, right? You mount up. You can't just run straight away. You have to go and do wait a bit, then mount up and then go. So they want to do that so that you can't use the traveling power as a dash, right? So it's just the way it goes. The traveling power will reduce speed. I think it was 700 before. So for those who have been playing for quite some time, there'll be no change. It is just recently the traveling power is a lot faster because they just they did it that way, but they're going to roll it back. They admit that there's a design flaw somewhere. They want to fit it into this like a greater kind of schema here. Now, what was the first thing that came to my mind was that the first thing came to my mind is actually a World of Warcraft Pandaren. So now, just give me a couple of minutes here to demonstrate to you how it works. So if you look at World of Warcraft, which is very much like this one here, and there's a power called roll for Pandaren. Pandaren is like a panda, by the way. All right, so it is like a panda, and there's a roll button here, right? So each roll will give you a roll of short distance. So you can walk here, then you can roll. Then after that you can roll again, and you can roll again. But then after that, you got a cooldown here, right? This is 12-second cooldown, but the other one is a 4-second cooldown. So it's very much like you can roll, but you can't just keep rolling until you are so far away. The mob can still chase after you and so on. So there's something like that. And in terms of traveling power wise, in a World of Warcraft point of view, you can't just like go straight away. You have to go and do like 2-3 seconds before you can run, right? So same thing. They're going to do it to Marvel heroes in a sense. So just give you some flavor, some idea of what is to come. That's all. Because whenever I make a reference to another game, I always make a mistake that not every one of you have seen the game before and can't really relate to what I'm saying. And you really want to see what the future of Marvel Hero would be, and that is kind of things that I think will happen. So now, jokes aside, why do I think that this is a rather good change? In a sense, it kind of gives me some insight on how they design a game, right? Because I have always been wondering, why do they have to make the game so hard that that they keep one-shotting me? Like when I go to like this Cosmic Danger Room, Mr. High, his shockwave. From my perspective, I can never tell am I in between a gap or not. So sometimes I eat it, sometimes I don't, right? So when I ate it, it's one shot dead, right? So in a sense, it kind of gives me some insight on how Gazillion designed a game, is that because some of the hero can just keep dashing around, apply damage over time, and kind of win the content, they make some mechanic such a way that they one-shot the hero. And I get frustrated all the time. I don't know about you guys. I get really, really frustrated. Like, man, I didn't see it coming. But it's just like, just because I dashed to the wrong place or didn't dash fast enough, and I'm dead, right? And I think it's really boring and unfun. I totally relate to that. Now, what is a good design is actually Dimensions Collide, which I'm a biggest fan of that, because, at the final boss fight, right, there are things that kill you, right? Because the orbs that spawn, sometimes I didn't see as well. But, you can see like the portal open, the orb will come out, give you like 2 seconds before the orb take into effect, right? Now, those are good design, because if you get hit by it and die, you say, you laugh it off. I laugh it off, right? Because it was fun. I didn't see it and I, dead, right? And, I didn't see it, but I saw it afterwards. But, so back to this topic is that I think if they can redesign some of this like a mechanic, to be less of those one-shot kind of thing that I like feel frustrated, didn't even see coming. So I think that is really good, and it's also good that I don't have to dodge everything. If they design a game such a way that there are things I should dodge, but I do not have to dodge everything, that is good design, because I can think, I've got 3 charges, should I move out or should I not? Right? Some of this could be very, very simple. You can see that Juggernaut is charging to you, right? You can jump, walk out, or you can dash out. You can see like maybe Electra is going to do is her thing. You can dash out or you can move out, right? So that is very interesting. And you may want to reserve at least one, for example, for crowd control breaker, right? Instead of just burning all the dashes. For example, if you know that there are Magnetos around, you know that there is like some of this like Gordon around whereby he can beam you and petrify you and then charge onto you, then you say, well, I want to save one of those, like the last charge to do a crowd control breaker. That is become an option as well. So I think it's a very, very good thing to happen. And they talk about the tuning of the end game and so on, and I think that touches a lot of what I'm talking about previously when it comes to end game, because I play a lot of end game and I kind of experience the kind of like one shot and kind of feel frustrated. Well, what could I do? But I think just a little bit more elaborate a little bit more on this whole mobility thing is that the way I see it is that all heroes become now equal in terms of dashing. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Doesn't matter which hero you play. In a sense, it's a good thing, but of course, you always go back a little bit and say, well, doesn't it make all the heroes the same? That is probably one of the concepts that we have to accept, because if you look at even the Omega gear that in future to come, without the Omega power, stripped it away, it's sort of the same thing, right? I mean, in a sense, if you look at Infinity System, Infinity Germs, and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, it's very generic now. But it also makes the game a lot easier to tune up, a lot faster to come up content. And I think all in all, looking at all these, I think Gazillion has done a lot of like design changes here and there, and this will not be the last time they change anything. If they see anything that is not right, I'm sure they can improve upon that. And also I personally feel that once the pace is slower, the game is actually more engaging, like the Dimensions Collide, which I always go back to that, because I don't think Dimension Collide, except the one boss, the fire boss that keep running around and throwing fireball at you, you don't really need to move that much in a sense. Things you can really see and avoid, things that some of this you can't avoid, that's fine. Some of this you could actually eat it. But in a sense, I found that the reason why I love the Dimensions Collide, the Doctor Strange event part 2, is that I find it a lot more engaging, a lot more fun. I can anticipate what is come, and I think that's good. But question on my mind is that we have a lot of movement heroes, right? What can we do? How can we help out if we have all these movement heroes that would dash around anyhow? I personally, my silver server is not movement kind of hero. I use my silver server as the EMF beam come a little bit of movement. But what about silver server, because he dash a lot, he does his sport a lot, he does his move a lot. So in a way I could use that as a dash. I mean kind of power to get out of trouble, or I could use it to DPS as well, right? What about those heroes that use those movement power to DPS? I don't know what's going to happen to those heroes, right? And the what if Ghost Rider, the ride, some people use ride as a DPS, some of them just let the fire going around. What happened to those that has a 1 second charging of the traveling power? I don't know, because it becomes less responsive, right? You want to do DPS, but there's a lag to it. So that's very specific to hero, but anyway, all heroes are going through a massive update, so I can't really use today's standard to project what is to come. But it's a good thing, no more silly one-shot mechanic. I really hope that I hope that they will go back to the Cosmic Danger Room and relook into some of this mechanic, because I think it's really no fun, frustrating sometimes, just die, right? And and I hope they'll continue making those very interesting game mechanic, because now that it's more engaging, can see what's happening, pay attention to what's happening. Like again, Dimension Collide, the last boss, we can really see what's happening and kind of thing. I think it's good. Now the last thing I have in mind is that what about latency, right? Because from where I am, I'm running about 300 to 400 millisecond. I can't help anything about it. There's no gateway within my country, unlike say Path of Exile that they have gateway everywhere. I can never get a low latency. So what am I going to do? Because sometimes even if I dash out, I still get hit by it, right? So, you know, would they make the game a little bit more forgiving? Those kind of like dodgeable attack, you know, because like the final boss fight of Dimensions Collide, there are a lot of things that you don't need to instantly dash out. You know, there are a lot of things, except the one that he jump onto you kind of thing and one shot you. But think about that, right? Maybe Gazillion could design a game with a little bit more forgiving in terms of the dodgeable attack, because some of us really the latency is just not there, or they take a client side as the final referee instead of the server side. You know, a lot of time we dash out, but then we get hit after we dash out, especially like for example Dr. Doom's is a classic example, right? You know, he does his disappear in the air, smash onto you, and I dash out and then I get smashed like, you know, miles away from him. How does it work? I do not know. So I hope they will sort of like relook into all these things, but I think it's a lot of work for them to look into all these things. I do not know how they can change it, but I really hope that they will address that you know, kind of thing. Anyhow, the last thing is on the traveling power. So I think I did touch down a little bit on the traveling power towards you know, the beginning of the video, and but I think my only thought is that some of the hero I'm using the traveling power as the dash power, right? I think Hulk is one of them that I can use. You know, my traveling power is actually my dash kind of power. So I do not know how they're going to do it, because some heroes the line is very blur between the traveling and the dash power. I'm using exactly the same thing. You know, teleport heroes, yet another thing, right? So how does the 1 second channel time work for some of these heroes? I do not know really. So in any case, share with me your thoughts. What do you think about this whole update, and you know, how do you like this whole kind of like you know, mobility kind of update? To me, it is a great news. To me, I think it will really transform the game to more fun, more engaging, and also having, you know, all the heroes really they don't disadvantaged just because you are a or you are a B or you are a C kind of thing. All right, so till next time we see each other, goodbye. I hope I'll do another coverage on the personal difficulty slider, which I think we all can guess what it will be. And who knows, man, they may bring another, you know, kind of surprise to us and address something else, maybe crafting, or I don't know. There's so many things they could address, really. They can do everything, you know, at one go. You know, maybe address the hybrid melee ranged, or, you know, kind of hybrid heroes kind of thing. I don't know, man. There's so many things that they could do in this game. But I'm very keen to see what they will do to this game. All right, see you. Bye.